Level 0. This is poison in name only. At level 0, a substance is technically toxic, but practically harmless. You would need to consume absurd quantities before your body even starts to consider giving up. Think kilograms, not pinches. Gallons, not sips. This is the kiddie pool of lethality. The water is shallow and the lifeguard is half asleep. One of the poster children here is citric acid, the molecule responsible for the face-puckering tang of lemons. Its LD50 in rats is over 5,000 milligrams per kilogram. Translated to a 70-kilogram adult, that's more than 350 grams of pure powdered acid. Not metaphorical acid, just the kind that makes lemonade taste like summer. Could you die from it? Yes, but only after eating an entire bowl of it like cereal. With milk, possibly screaming. Table salt lives here too. Familiar, domestic, essential, but also deadly in quantities no one should ever reach. In 2005, a young boy in New York died after being force-fed several tablespoons of salt by his guardian. It was intended as punishment. It became a fatal dose. The salt pulled water from his cells and overwhelmed his organs. Technically, a level 0 toxin killed him, but only because the dose turned monstrous. Level 0 substances hide in plain sight. They are not weapons. They are ingredients. But even here, at the very bottom of the scale, dosage is everything. Given enough of anything, the body will falter. What changes next is not the presence of danger, but how easily it's reached. The next level doesn't require bowls or bathtubs, just a mug, a pill, a shot of energy before work. Level 1 is already in your bloodstream. Level 1. Now we enter the realm where everyday substances start to carry a hidden blade. Still low on the lethality scale, but no longer innocent. These chemicals don't need a bathtub full to do harm. Sometimes a single mistake is enough. Caffeine is one of the most relatable poisons in this category. A casual stimulant, a morning ritual, a legal addiction. Its LD50 in humans is estimated around 190 milligrams per kilogram, though data varies. For an average adult, it would take roughly 80 to 100 cups of coffee in one sitting to die from caffeine alone. But concentrated powders, energy drinks, and pills don't play by the rules of moderation. In 2017, a 16-year-old in South Carolina collapsed during class. Hours earlier, he'd consumed a cafe latte, a large Diet Mountain Dew, and an energy drink. Nothing illegal, nothing unusual, just a combination of caffeine that overloaded his heart. He died of cardiac arrhythmia before the school bell rang. This level also includes acetaminophen, paracetamol. It sits quietly in your medicine cabinet, safe in therapeutic doses, deadly in just a little more. Ingesting over 10 grams at once can cause liver failure. Thousands are hospitalized each year from accidental overdoses. Level 1 poisons don't feel like poisons. They wear the costume of normalcy. They're in vending machines, corner stores, and kitchen drawers. They wait patiently for your hand to slip. And when it does, they don't need to strike hard, just often. But at level 2, the illusion disappears. These aren't background chemicals anymore. These are killers waiting for a single teaspoon to change everything. Level 2. At level 2, poison starts showing its teeth. You no longer need to binge absurd quantities. A few grams, a single mistake, and the body starts failing by design. These substances don't rely on chance. They're efficient, targeted, and terrifyingly easy to underestimate. Nicotine sits squarely in this category. While it's most commonly delivered in small, diluted doses, its raw form is a chemical sniper. The LD50 in humans is estimated around 50 milligrams per kilogram. For a 70-kilogram adult, that's roughly 3.5 grams. But in practice, it can kill with even less. Just a few drops of liquid nicotine can cause convulsions, paralysis, and death, especially in children. In one case, a toddler in Israel died after biting into a refill cartridge for an e-cigarette. Then there's chloroquine, a drug once widely used to treat malaria. In therapeutic doses, it saves lives. Just 2 to 3 times the prescribed amount can lead to seizures, heart failure, and death. During the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, several people were hospitalized or killed after taking industrial chloroquine phosphate intended for cleaning fish tanks. The dose was wrong. The intent didn't matter. At level 2, death becomes a miscalculation, not a plan. These poisons often look like medicine, taste like fruit, or hide inside convenience. They're close enough to feel safe, but precise enough to kill quickly. No absurd amounts, no marathon sessions of ingestion. Just one decision too far, and the outcome is clinical. Level 3 is where things stop pretending. Because next the poison doesn't just enter your system, it hijacks it. Level 3. At this level, a poison doesn't just slip past your defenses. It marches in, takes control, and locks the doors behind it. We are no longer talking grams, we are talking milligrams. 1 teaspoon could be enough to kill several people. And in some cases, it already has. Strychnine is one of the most infamous examples, an alkaloid once used to kill pests and occasionally people. Its LD50 in humans hovers around 10 milligrams per kilogram. In small doses, it causes muscle spasm. In fatal doses, it turns your body into a clenched mass of bone-snapping convulsions. Victims remain fully conscious as their diaphragm locks, and they suffocate slowly while wide awake. In 2008, a man in Colorado died after taking a supplement laced with strychnine marketed as a natural performance enhancer. It wasn't. Then there's cyanide. The name alone feels weaponized. It halts cellular respiration by preventing cells from using oxygen. You suffocate even as your lungs keep breathing. In 1978, over 900 people in Jonestown, Guyana, died after ingesting cyanide-laced punch. It was fast, brutal, and merciless. Time to death, often under 10 minutes. Level 3 poisons don't require subtlety. They don't need to hide in your food or build up over time. They are direct, they are fast, and they do not ask for forgiveness. Every milligram counts. Every second matters. This is where emergency rooms become battlegrounds, where antidotes are a race against the clock and mistakes are rarely survived. But level 4 makes even this look sloppy, because next comes the class of poisons that kill with the precision of a scalpel and the cruelty of a trapdoor. Level 4. Now we enter the realm of surgical killers. At level 4, the poison does not overwhelm your body. It sabotages it. This is not brute force. This is biochemical elegance. The amounts needed are vanishingly small, a few grains, half a pill, a sip from the wrong cup. One of the most feared substances in this class is aconitine, the active compound in the aconite plant, also known as monkshood or wolfsbane. It was used historically by assassins, warriors, and occasionally the vengeful. Its LD50 is estimated at around 1 to 2 milligrams per kilogram. Just touching the roots can cause tingling. Swallow it and the symptoms begin with burning in the mouth and end in fatal arrhythmias. In 2009, a British man died after drinking herbal tea laced with aconite. He was dead within hours. Another example is digoxin, derived from foxglove. Used in controlled doses, it helps treat heart failure. Push the dose slightly higher and it flips the heart into chaos. In 1980, nurse Charles Cullen began administering fatal doses of digoxin to hospital patients across New Jersey and Pennsylvania. By the time he was caught, at least 29 people were confirmed dead. The real number is likely higher. At this level, the difference between healing and killing is a decimal point. These substances are often found in traditional medicine, garden plants, or inside hospital syringes. Their lethality is not in their volume, but in their precision. One misstep, one trusting sip, and that is the end. But level 5 is no longer concerned with precision. It is concerned with perfection, because next we meet toxins that are not just dangerous, they are mathematically close to unbeatable. Level 5. We are now well beyond the reach of teaspoons and pinches. At level 5, the poison does not need to be swallowed, smelled, or even seen. It only needs to be present. One droplet on the skin. A few micrograms in the air. That is enough. The undisputed king of this tier is botulinum toxin, the most poisonous substance known to science. Its estimated LD50 in humans is around 1 nanogram per kilogram when injected. To visualize that, imagine a grain of salt. Now divide it into a million pieces. Just a few of those pieces can kill a human in under 24 hours. Botulinum blocks nerve signals, paralyzing muscles until the lungs stop moving and the heart follows. In 2018, a man in California developed full-body paralysis after eating home-canned green beans contaminated with botulinum spores. He survived, but only after months of intensive care and mechanical ventilation. Another killer in this class is ricin, derived from castor beans. It disrupts ribosomes, shutting down protein production inside your cells. In 1978, Bulgarian dissident Georgy Markov was assassinated in London when a tiny pellet of ricin was injected into his leg via a modified umbrella. He died painfully 4 days later, and the assassin was never found. Level 5 poisons are not just lethal. They are quiet, efficient, and deeply patient. Some were created by nature to defend a plant or kill a predator. Others were purified by humans to silence dissent or prepare for war. Either way, these toxins do not ask for a full dose. A whisper will do. And yet, even these monsters fade in comparison to what comes next, because level 6 was never meant to heal or defend. It was built to kill, by design. Level 6. This is the level where humanity stops borrowing poisons from nature and starts engineering them for one purpose: mass death. Level 6 is a collection of substances designed in laboratories, refined by militaries, and deployed with chilling efficiency. These are not defensive tools. These are chemical weapons, built to disable armies, crush rebellions, or erase a single person without leaving a trace. The most notorious among them is VX nerve agent, colorless, odorless, and lethally persistent. A dose smaller than a raindrop absorbed through the skin can cause death within minutes. VX paralyzes the nervous system by blocking acetylcholinesterase, the enzyme that controls muscle contractions. Your body keeps firing signals, but nothing turns them off. Victims experience uncontrollable twitching, convulsions, respiratory failure, then death. In 2017, Kim Jong-nam, the estranged brother of North Korea's leader, was assassinated in a Malaysian airport when two women smeared VX across his face. He died in under 20 minutes. Then there is sarin gas, used in war zones and terror attacks. In 1995, members of the Aum Shinrikyo cult released sarin into the Tokyo subway during rush hour. 13 people died. Over 1,000 were injured. Survivors described a smell like burning rubber and the sensation of drowning while fully awake. At level 6, poisons do not wait for ingestion. They do not care about taste or smell. They move through skin, through air, through the smallest gap in a gas mask. And they work fast. So fast that most victims cannot even call for help. But the next level is even more sinister, because some poisons do not need to act fast at all. They are content to wait inside your body, your food, or your water, until the damage is already done. Level 7. Now we step into the poisons that refuse to leave. They do not strike immediately. They settle, accumulate, contaminate, and then quietly dismantle the body over months, years, sometimes generations. These are toxins that outlive victims, drift through environments, and become inherited tragedies. One of the most chilling examples is polonium-210, a radioactive alpha emitter. When ingested, it irradiates internal organs from the inside. In 2006, former Russian agent Alexander Litvinenko fell mysteriously ill in London. Doctors initially suspected poisoning, but the cause seemed invisible. Only later did tests reveal polonium-210 in his urine and hair. The dose was astronomically high. He died slowly, losing hair, strength, and bone marrow function. The contamination trail stretched through restaurants, airplanes, even hotel carpets. Then there are dioxins, compounds formed in industrial combustion and historically linked to herbicides. During the Vietnam War, Agent Orange contained dioxin-contaminated stock. Its impact did not disappear when the war ended. Survivors developed cancers, immune disorders, reproductive complications. Soil and waterways remained altered for decades. Children born years later carried genetic and developmental effects. Methylmercury is another silent destroyer. In Minamata, Japan, the Chiso Corporation discharged mercury compounds into Minamata Bay for decades. Locals consumed contaminated fish, unaware. By the time symptoms surfaced in the 1950s, neurological damage was irreversible. Tremors, blindness, paralysis, birth defects. It became known as Minamata disease and reshaped global environmental policy. Level 7 poisons are not dramatic. They rarely cause convulsions in minutes. Instead, they move like time itself. They accumulate quietly, and when damage becomes visible, repair is no longer possible. Because level 8 does not wait years. It does not spread generationally. It chooses a target, enters quietly, and finishes the job with patience sharpened into precision. Level 8. This is the level where the poison does not kill today. It waits. It blends into routines, disguises itself as food, medicine, or even clean water. It damages slowly, often without symptoms, until one day the body crosses a line it cannot come back from. These are the poisons that do not need to rush. They are patient, precise, and almost always underestimated. Arsenic is the classic example. Tasteless, odorless. Historically known as the king of poisons, it was the weapon of choice for royal betrayals and family feuds. It works slowly, especially in chronic doses. Hair falls out, skin turns pale, organs begin to fail. In Napoleon Bonaparte's final years, high levels of arsenic were detected in preserved hair samples, leading many to suspect he was poisoned in exile. Whether intentional or environmental, the poison was real. But arsenic is not just history. In Bangladesh, naturally occurring arsenic in groundwater has led to the largest mass poisoning event in modern history. Millions are exposed daily. Symptoms may not appear for years, but the outcome is the same. Cancers, neurological disorders, and internal damage that cannot be undone. Then there is thallium, sometimes called the poisoner's poison. It has no color or taste. Victims lose hair and coordination before they lose their lives. In 1995, a lab worker in China was slowly poisoned by a jealous colleague who slipped thallium into her drinks. She survived barely after months of agony. Level 8 poisons do not need to overpower. They wait for your trust. They pass unnoticed through the body's defenses, through time itself, until your cells collapse from the inside out. But the next level is not about patience or precision, it is about ambition, because level 9 was built in secret, to end lives with custom-made silence. Level 9. At this level, the poison is not found in nature. It is built, designed molecule by molecule with a single goal in mind, to kill more efficiently than anything nature ever invented. Level 9 is where synthetic biology meets warfare. These are toxins with enhanced potency, stability, and often plausible deniability. The line between biotoxin and bioweapon is blurred here. One historical example is Project MK Naomi, a Cold War-era program where the CIA and Department of Defense explored weaponizing biological agents. Among them was saxitoxin, a marine biotoxin capable of shutting down the nervous system in microgram doses. The agency developed a gun disguised as a cigar that could fire a frozen dart coated in saxitoxin. The victim would suffer cardiac arrest and the toxin would disappear almost entirely from the bloodstream. Then there is the concept of genetically targeted poisons, not science fiction, theoretically possible and quietly studied. A biotoxin tailored to attack a specific gene or protein found only in certain ethnic groups, families, or even individuals. A biological fingerprint exploited by a custom molecule. No explosion, no trace, just an illness that looks natural until it kills. The true power of engineered biotoxins lies not only in their lethality, but in their control. Lab-grown toxins can be made more stable, easier to deploy, and harder to trace. They may resist heat, sunlight, or antidotes. Some are designed to linger on surfaces, others to vanish without a trace. At level 9, we are not just confronting poison. We are confronting the idea that someone, somewhere, has learned how to build a better killer. And still, there is one final level. Because level 10 asks a question science is just beginning to answer. What if the deadliest poison has not been made yet? Level 10. This is the edge of the known world. Level 10 is not defined by what already exists, but by what might be possible. It is where chemistry, synthetic biology, and computational design converge to answer a dangerous question. What is the upper limit of lethality? And what happens when we reach it? We already know that botulinum toxin is the deadliest natural poison ever discovered. But what if that is not the ceiling? What if someone could engineer a toxin that acts faster, spreads farther, and cannot be stopped? In theory, a protein could be built to combine the worst traits of every known killer. A molecule stable enough to survive outside the body, small enough to slip past the immune system, and smart enough to target specific tissues once inside. Some researchers have explored the idea of gene-editing toxins, payloads delivered by viral vectors that rewrite DNA and cause the body to self-destruct from within. A single infected cell could quietly replicate the code of death, unnoticed, until the tipping point is reached. The most unsettling part is that it may not require a government or military anymore. With the rise of AI-assisted drug design and at-home DNA synthesis, the theoretical becomes increasingly accessible. You do not need to smuggle poison across borders when you can print it in a lab the size of a garage. Level 10 is not a confirmed threat. Not yet. But it is a reminder that the line between science and weapon is getting thinner. Every advancement in healing carries its shadow. So here's the final question. What if the deadliest poison on Earth has not been discovered in nature or made in a lab, but is already coded into the tools we use every day? Waiting, watching, one breakthrough away from being real.